Hey guys, welcome in. Make sure you say hi. Let me know where you're from. Better yet, let me know what machine you're running. That's a that's a different question for today. Come in, say hi. Let me know what machine you're running so that I know you're here. Today we're just doing a Q&A, so if you have any questions at all about Silhouette Studio or the machines, go ahead and put them in the chat and we will try to get to all of them. I do have some questions from the Facebook page and the group that I do want to get to. But before we get started, I wanted to ask too, how is Tuesday at noon working for everybody? Is there a better time slot, a better day? Let me know that as well, and I can try to readjust things as we go. Tuesday at noon isn't set in stone. It just picked it out of the air. Hey Terry, how are you? Good to see you in here. Before we get to the Q&A part of this, I did want to go over some things. We have some news in the Silhouette world, super exciting. A lot of you know Terry Johnson from Terry Johnson Creates. She is a fabulous instructor. If you haven't heard of her, you need to go check out her work. She does an All Things Silhouette Club, and typically she does an All Things Silhouette Summit every year. This year she is switching it up a bit to be more inclusive. If you run a Cricut, a Caesar, a Silhouette machine, whichever machine you're running, there's going to be something in this summit for you. Highly recommend that you tune in. There is a free pass and there is a paid VIP access pass. Now, for the free pass, you're going to get all of the classes and you will have 24 hours to view them. And so you just need to make sure you get all the classes in on that day. If you want to take it up a notch, you can get the VIP access. And then you have unlimited viewing time. You don't have to watch everything in the day that it's released. And there's going to be extra downloadable content, SVGs, templates, handouts, that kind of thing. There will be bonus content, and the early bird pricing is going on now. I don't remember what day that ends, but as of right now, I think it's $59, and then it will go up to $79. I should have written that down. Anyway, both of those links are in the description of this video. If you want to grab a pass, I highly recommend it. I am going to be doing a class, Cut Files by Candlelight. We're going to pour some candles. We're going to decorate the jars. It's a ton of fun, and the SVG files are included in that class. I had a lot of fun there. Patreon. I did start a Patreon. There is a free tier and a paid tier, and this week we are taking the SVGs, the bundle that dropped, I think the 22nd, and we are going to we're going to turn those files into stencils, but on top of that we are creating stencils with registration marks, so you make sure you get your alignment just right. It's not print and cut registration marks. It's something totally different. You put the little squares in, you make sure they line up when you put your stencil down. So lots of stuff going on there, and then the new SVGs will drop on October 6th, so you want to make sure you check that out as well. Now on Friday here on YouTube, the regular long form video is going to be on creating your own dingbat font. You do need a business edition to create your own font in Silhouette Studio, but it's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend that you catch that video because there's going to be a lot of good information in that one. And also on my Facebook page and in the Facebook group, I had made a post where the business edition was on sale on Amazon. There is a link. I'm not sure if it's still on sale or not, but you can grab it. I think it was $70, but don't quote me on that. Oh, that's right. In the VIP pass, you do get early access. That's right. So you can start today if you want. But I'm so excited that you're in the VIP pass. Okay, we are going to get started on running through some of these questions. But for sure, if you have any questions on the machine or on Silhouette Studio, make sure you drop them in the comments and we will get to them. We can just kind of keep the live rolling that way. Okay, so Terry from over on Facebook asked if I could explain the whole sublimation thing. She got some sublimation paper with her heat press and she doesn't know how to use it with the Cameo. No sublimation printer. Okay, so the thing with sublimation printer is you really do need a sublimation printer in order to use that. So I don't know if the sublimation paper is going to be of use to you, but you can use infusible ink. You can use sublimation markers or sublimation paints. Those are all relatively inexpensive and a good way to see if that's something that you want to get into. And they can all be used with the Silhouette machines. You can do kind of a print and cut deal where you just so you would print your outline or whatever on paper with registration marks, color it in with the pens or the markers, and then use that to sublimate. Or you can cut shapes out of the infusible ink. You can cut out text or actual design elements out of the infusible ink and then press that. Okay, then this is also from Terry. She bought a Cameo 4 Plus and can't figure out why it isn't cutting out small letters. She's tried different settings and it still isn't working, even using weeding boxes. She has checked the blade. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to make sure that it is cutting all the way through but not cutting into the backing of the material. If it's cutting into the backing, you want to back the blade up a little bit. So if you're cutting at a 2, lower it to a 1. You're also going to want, if it's not cutting into the backing, leave it where it's at, but lower the force just a little bit. And you want to do this in small increments. So if your force is at, say, a 10, maybe back it up to an 8 and see how that does. But it's pretty much baby steps. Check your fonts and see if they are clean. Sometimes they have jagged lines and you don't realize it. What you can do for this is right click on your text and convert it to path. Then double click on it. It's going to bring up your editing points. You can go over and hit simplify and run a test with that. If it cuts better with being simplified, then you know it's actually the font that isn't working, not really the machine. And you want to make sure you're doing test cuts before with these settings before you move on to bigger jobs, so that you're not wasting your vinyl. What you instead of doing the test cuts that are in the software, though, type out a few letters that are in your design at the same size. You don't want to run the full design. Just type out a few different letters and run a test that way and see how the results look. Last thing you want to try is doing a reset on your actual machine. You want to turn the power completely off, unplug it. You're going to take the blade carriage and slide it all the way to the right, then all the way to the left. Do that 3 times. You can plug it back in, turn it back on, and when it powers up, that blade carriage is going to slide into the home, the little home space. And sometimes that will clear up cutting issues as well. But you should try a few different setting combinations and try resetting your machine. And if that doesn't clear up the issues, go ahead and send me a message through Facebook and we can work further together and get you situated there. Okay, Arne, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. If I'm not, please correct me in the chat. She is from the Facebook page. Excuse me. Her question was, when writing with a pen or a marker, how do you repeat without moving yourself and hitting print, like making invites and fitting 6 on one sheet of vinyl? So what you want to do is get your sketch set up completely with just one of the designs. I'm assuming that you're sketching and cutting at the same time. So set up the cut and the sketch fill, the outline, whatever you need. Get it completely set up in the software. Go over into the send page. Make sure your cut lines are cutting and your sketch lines are sketching. And then you can group all of that together and duplicate so that it fills up your page. You can either right click and duplicate and set them in place, or you can use the replicate panel to make however many copies across and down you want. But you want to get it all set up on your sheet and then send it through. I feel like there was one more that I am missing. I cannot find it now. Okay, Jory's asking if I've ever made embroidery files in Silhouette Studio. I have not, but I do believe Terry Johnson does embroidery, and she might have something on that, but that is something that I could look into and possibly put out a video on it in the future, but I have not ever tried that, honestly, because any kind of sewing machine and I do not get along. I break them. I touch them, they break. That's it. They're gone. They're done. 15-inch wide vinyl. I think you can find that on Amazon. A quick link, just a quick search on Amazon. I think Oracle sells it. And check out 143vinyl.com. They sell StarCraft, and I think they have 15-inch rolls as well. I did get a 24-inch roll off of Amazon, but I think the colors are limited. Oh, Nicole just got her pen adapter. These are so much fun. I've done quite a few sketches with all of the Silhouette machines, really. It's one of my favorite projects. You want to make sure that when you put the pen in the adapter that the little collar is tightened, but don't tighten it too much because they have a tendency to crack and then the whole set is no good. You have to replace it, but definitely use... there's a little cap that comes with the pen adapter. That's what you want to use to make sure your pen is in at the right height. And you want to use that so that you don't get extra marks on your paper. And play around in the actual sketch panel. Try out some different sketch fills and whatnot. See how each one looks with different files, because they all turn out so different from one another, and it's actually kind of fun to play around with. But start with smaller files, because it does take a long time just to run a sketch through, and that way if you start small, just a letter or two, you'll see the difference and you'll kind of have a better idea of how you want your end sketch to look like before you put your whole project through. I did notice that, and I'm late to this, I know that. I did notice that the extra fine heat foil tool is out now. Has anyone tried that? I don't think the Cameo 3 adapters will work. You'll have to get a different set. I don't know if the adapters for the tools will work with that or not. I'm pretty sure you just need to update your set, unfortunately. But I will look into that after the live is finished and reply to your comment with a definite answer on that. Yeah, I don't have the fine tip either yet. It's definitely going in my cart soon because that looks like a lot of fun. It's just better for the finer details. So, any thoughts on the time and day? Are we good with that? Tuesday at noon is working. I do have a Curio, and I I hate to say this, but it's kind of setting up to the side of my studio, and I always forget to grab it and use it. I've got the Cameo 3, 4, 5, 5 Alpha, the portrait for the Curio 1, 2, and the Mint. So juggling all of these gets to be a bit much, and it just ends up sitting over there. And I've actually got some stuff stacked on it, which I do not recommend doing. Um, but when things get hectic around here, I tend to pile some papers and whatnot on there, and it gets lost in the mess. So I am going to make a note to actually get it out and do a few videos with it because it has been a while since I used it. Bye, Nicole. Um, I kind of do prefer the cameos only because that's what I'm used to. I'm um, very set in what I like to do. And I don't dislike the Curio. It's just a little bit different, and there's a few more steps in getting it set up, and usually I'm in a rush to get stuff out. So the Cameo 5 sets right on my workspace, and that's just my go-to because of that. And it's funny because if I moved the Cameo 5 and put the Curio 2 there, I would just use that instead. Like I said, the setup's a little bit different, but both machines are really, really good. Now, the Alpha, I just got it. I've been playing with it for a little over a week now, and I've not had one bad cut come out of this. It's super amazing. The other cameos that I bought in the past, there's a little bit of adjustment, whatever, but every setting that I use from Silhouette Studio actually works, and it's kind of weird, but definitely good. Okay, I have the MK2, and I cannot get it to work properly too. I don't know if it's the bigger width or if it's just me, but it doesn't want to pull the mat through. It's very finicky, and I haven't bought any of the 15-inch machines, so I don't have anything really to go on with that. But the MK2 is just sitting there. I cannot get it to do what it's supposed to do. So if you're not comfortable using it and it's still under warranty, returning it may be an option. I shouldn't say it is an option. It may be an option. But I'm not, like I said, I don't have one, so I can't really say. We could jump on Messenger, go back and forth and try to figure a few things out. Hi, Kathy. When you say changing cut lines into score lines, are you talking about changing them to a dash line or changing the setting in the send page? So when you are using a larger machine in Silhouette Studio, you have to go through to your page setup, choose the machine, and then you can choose the from the drop down menu the mat size, the cutting mat. You can choose different mats, and then it will change the size of the mat that's displayed on the design screen. I'm going to switch over to Silhouette Studio here for just a second. So Kathy's asking about changing the SVG file to not cut the inside. What you want to do, I'm just going to grab a simple shape here. Let's do an offset so it has two different lines. And we can make this a compound path. Let's fill it in with color so we can see. If you go to the send page, and if you're running V4, this is going to look a little bit different. So in V4, the settings that you're looking for would be over on this side, and it would say cut or cut edge. In V5, those options are down at the bottom here. You can see right now I have Tool 1, use all selected lines. So that's going to cut the outside and the inside. But if I use Tool 1, use the outline of the selection. Oh, that did not work, and I don't know. Oh, is it selected? Well, normally that's what you would need to do, and it is not working. Let's go back. Maybe because I made it a compound path. Let's release the compound path. Turn one white so we can tell what we're doing. I know they need to be grouped if you're talking about different elements, but that should have worked. Now I'm super confused. Okay, so now you can see that's just going to cut the outside edge. Tool 1, use all selected lines, will cut both of them. But honestly, this should work when it is a compound path. So I'm not sure on why it did that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm doing the wrong thing anyway, aren't I, Kathy? Okay, let's go back to this example. Ungroup it. And okay, what you need to do is pick your actual line that you want to score, Kathy. So let's go with the white one here. We'll take a line from our drawing tools and just pull that across there. Now you want your main shape, say this is a card base, you want your card base to cut, and you want this line here to score. So let's take this and set this one to blue. As long as it's a different color than your cut lines, it's okay. But typically we look at cut lines as red and blue lines as score lines. And when we go over to the send page, you can see that everything here is in red, and that means it's going to cut. So we want to leave the outline of the square set to cut. We can select our line here and then switch it to tool 2 here. Okay, and if you're running V4 still instead of the updated V5, again, your options are going to be over here, and you can select either tool 1 or tool 2. And over here, I wish I had V4 still installed. And my machine is not plugged in either. But anyway, so for tool 1, that's what's going to cut. That's the red one. And you can set your material. This would be set to cut, and then your auto blade would be detected here. If you're using the embossing tool to score, that would be in tool holder 2. You would leave your material at cardstock. This would be score, and this would be the embossing tool. But the thing is, you want to make sure that you are designating each line to what tool you want to use with it. You can also come up here to this tab, and it's cut by line color. And that way you can set tool number 1 for your cut and tool number 2 for your score. So those are where you're going to find the different things that you need to customize to get it to do the different things. So when you're cutting by color, you can click on these little colored boxes. This comes up down here, and you'll be able to see all your settings. And click on the other one. Again, you'll be able to see all your settings and adjust them accordingly. And you can also, when you're doing the cut by line color, reorder them so that it will score first and then cut, or pull it back up to the top and then you can cut and then score. I'm not sure if they're going to make a Cameo 5 Pro or not. That may be what they come up with next year. They kind of stagger the drops. Okay, so Mrs. Evie, hello. She's asking what file can you layer, PNG or another one? Actually, you can, well, PNGs are for layering if you want to create a printable design. So you can take one PNG, maybe it's a background file, just a background border, and you can put something else on top of it, and then they will both print just like it looks on the screen. Now, if you want to layer cut files, SVGs or Silhouette Studio files, in a layered decal, you would cut out the bottom layer and then you would cut out the top layer separately. You can't just cut them out one on top of the other, or all of the cut lines are going to be messed up, if that makes sense. Okay, you are supposed to be able to make a score line with the auto blade. It's set to 1 and a super, super low force. I always end up cutting through everything with that, though. I have never been able to make a good score line with the auto blade. You can set it to a perforated line. Let me go back to Studio for a second. Okay, so if you go to the design page here, and again, if this were a card base and this were the score line, you can click on this, come up to this drop down menu here, and you can set it to a perforated line. And that's going to make the little dash line cuts all the way across. And that can be used as a score line. And like I said, there is a setting for the auto blade to score, but I don't know if anybody else has been able to get that work. I cut through my material every single time. I think I have a video on creating your own boxes. I'll go back through once the live is done and reply to your comment. If I have an actual video up on it, I'll reply with the link. But there is a site, and I cannot think of the name of it to save my life. I'll look that up too. It's a really cool site. I know it's in one of my videos as well. It's all free templates, and there's so many different boxes. There's like match boxes with, you know, the lids that you can remove, or ones that you can just tuck the tab down in there. But there's like heart boxes, oval boxes, all kinds. And I will look for that website because it is absolutely amazing. It's actually one of my favorite places to go. I have it bookmarked somewhere. Okay, the embossing tool only works with the Cameo 5 and up, unfortunately. I have heard that there's some people that are emailing Silhouette and trying to get them to change that, because it should just be a firmware update from what I'm understanding. So that may be coming soon, but as of right now, the embossing tool does not work with the 4. There are third-party tools that you can get. I think We Are Memory Keepers makes one, I want to say. Yes, Jory, template maker. I think it's .nl or something like that, right? Thank you, because my brain was not pulling that up. Well, I think everybody should upgrade to an alpha, but nobody should ask me these things. It's funny, when it came out, when they announced that another 5 was coming out, I said, I'm not getting it. I've got the 5. It's working fine. Everything's beautiful. Talking to my husband, and he's like, mm-hmm. He came home a few days later. I'm like, yeah, I ordered it. He's like, I know. So, I am the wrong person to be asking about that. Now, the Cameo 4, though, is absolutely an amazing machine. I still have mine. It still runs perfectly, and it was actually the first machine that I got when I got into Silhouette. I came over from Cricut. So the 4 was my first machine, It still works beautifully. I think it worked better than the 5, honestly. But now the 5 Alpha is here, and it is absolutely fabulous. Yeah, I don't know, Jory. It's wild to me that they don't release it worldwide, that you guys got to wait so much longer, and there's different pricing and all of that. But that comes from me living in my little bubble over here. Oh no. What are you struggling with on the 4? In the US, the Cameo 5 Alpha is 249, which is kind of crazy because the Cameo 5 is 269 still on Amazon. So the reason for the price difference, though, is because the roll feeder is not actually included in the box in the Alpha, but it was in the 5. So that's the price difference. I'm not really fond that it doesn't come with a roll feeder, but I was fond of the price. So the roll feeder from the 5 works with the 5 Alpha. So I have it already. It's just a different color. The small cuts. Okay. Um, when you're cutting, have you checked the backing to see if there's any cuts on the actual backing? Like after you pull the vinyl up, are you seeing actual cuts in the backing, or is it just a little bit of indentation? Okay, so with the roll feeder, you don't absolutely have to have it. If you are doing cuts that will fit on the mat, then that's absolutely perfect. You don't need it at all. So, like, you could get a 12 by 24 mat and never have to have the roll feeder at all, as long as your cut stayed within that. You might be able to go, I don't know if I would go 36 inches without it or not, but it just keeps everything kind of lined up so that your vinyl doesn't go askew. But if you're going to cut large projects without the roll feeder, I would say to try to get it as straight as possible, the vinyl. Unroll it if you can. Get it straight as possible going into the machine. And then feed it through to make sure that it's going to stay without going askew. You definitely can cut without it. It's just a little bit less risky. I keep thinking I'm going to buy the electrostatic mat for the 5, and then I think, well, your Curio 2 has it. There's no point in getting it for the 5. And then everybody's saying how great it is. And then the Alpha, the new machine that they just came out with, the roll bar on the actual machine is raised up a little bit. So there's more clearance for using the electrostatic mat. I think they're talking me right into it. So that might be my next purchase. Okay, so if if you're getting actual cuts on the backing, you want to back your blade up. You should see like small indents on the backing, but you don't want it to cut into the backing because that's going to make your weeding really difficult, and um, also it's just more chance for those letters to kind of get loose and move around. So if you're doing a test cut and it cuts into the backing, back the blade up a little bit and try adjusting the force just in little tiny increments. But in order to get your depth right, so get your depth right first. You want it to cut through the vinyl, but not actually into the backing. And then we can work on the force. And if your letters are moving all around, try bringing the force up a little bit. Lower the force so it's not as strong. But I know these machines can do it. I've actually cut decals out for my nails, and those were teeny tiny. So I know the machines can do it. We just got to get you there. Yeah, the roll feeder is for matless cutting. Jory, where are you seeing that at? I have not seen that yet. Here I am thinking I'm all up to date and everything. I don't know if I would get another Pro anyway. I was so discouraged with that MK2. And I think that I I'm pretty sure I'm doing something wrong, but I tried and tried and tried to get it to cut right, and I just cannot. I have not used a CB09 blade. Um, I've always had really good luck with the auto blade. They last me forever, and they've always just worked. Now I know Silhouette offers the premium blade and the manual blade and all of that. They do not recommend getting third party tools or blades or mats at all. So, as an instructor, I need to tell you to shy away from it, but I know there are a lot of people that use them successfully. So, if your warranty is up and you want to give it a try, it should be fine. I know they are inexpensive and a decent alternative because with the Silhouette blades, if it's bad, you got to throw out the blade, the housing, all of it. It's just no good. And with the CB09s, you can get the little adapter and you just have to switch out the blade. So it does save you money in the long run. Just know that it will void your warranty if you use third party tools. Yeah, if you are going to try it, I would definitely at least wait until your warranty is up. I mean, I don't think it would cause damage to the machine, but I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people have used them and they work fine, but as an instructor, I have to kind of steer you away from that. I think the one third party tool that they have kind of um, allowed, I guess I want to say, would be the We Are Memory Keepers foil quill for use with the 4. I don't think Zoom is, like I said, the only one that will not void your warranty, as far as I know, and it still might, I'm not positive on that, is the We Are Memory Keepers. I know there have been other instructors that have said you can use that one. So that's kind of what I'm going off of, but pretty much Silhouette doesn't like you to use anything third party at all. Have you tried the craft blade with the suede? You can get the craft blade in either 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter, and it does cut the hooks and loops because it turns differently than the auto blade, but it does cut deeper and it has a larger cutting surface, and it's good for leather and suede as well. But that would be my recommendation, is to try the craft blade. As long as your cuts aren't too intricate, it should be fine. I have heard of people using it. I just can't recommend it. Definitely order the craft blade and try that. Um, you might be able to find it. No, never mind. I was going to say you might be able to find it in stores, but I think most stores have cleared out their Silhouette products, which is a shame as well. I used to be able to go and get stuff from Michael's, and they've cleared all of the Silhouette out. Yes, I did make my cup. I got the decal on kind of crooked, but it's still relevant. I have no filter. They are so much fun, and they really are versatile. I'm kind of just going through all of the different things now again because I'm trying to see what the alpha can do, if there's any quirks or any of that. So far I've done the vinyl and the cardstock, and I've done magnetic sticker paper, regular sticker paper, laminated sticker paper. There's just so much more I want to test, but that's always fun to go through each and every material. And oh, I was saying I did make the cup. It just my decal came out crooked. I was in a hurry, but um the rotary blade might work on suede. I'm not sure. The craft blade will go a little bit deeper than the rotary blade, but that is kind of interesting. I do have the rotary blade. I could try that out and see. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here in just a minute, but there's one more question. I am thinking about doing a 12 days of Christmas prep series, which means that it would actually come out before Thanksgiving. There would be 12 days of videos, 12 different projects. Um, some of them could be actual gifts. Some of them could actually, like Christmas cards, and just kind of prepping for the holidays that are coming up. So if that is something that you would be interested in watching, let me know. If there is interest, I'm going to try to pull it together. It's kind of a time crunch, but I can do it. I know I can. Um, I have made stencils. And can you make a hat without a heat press? I'm not sure how you would make a hat unless you. I guess you could if you wanted to get the leather patches. You could use the. You could actually use the heat foil tool on leather and just sew the patches on. That might be cute. Okay, so you're having trouble cutting intricate details on paper and then you welded it and then it worked better. My guess is that in the design there were actual overlapping cut lines in there, and when you weld it together everything just becomes kind of one element, and all of the inside cuts get welded together. So if it were like say it were like a snowflake and the different sections were separate but overlapping, then all of those inside cuts would kind of make everything fall apart, right? But when you weld it, anything that's overlapping, those extra cut lines disappear. And if you are doing intricate cuts like that, I recommend after you weld it, right click on it and make a compound path, then double click and simplify, and the cuts are going to be a lot smoother, and also they will cut quicker. Jory, I missed your comment about the Cameo 5 Alpha Pro. Okay, so I did a little thing here with the make account. Oh, let me switch over to the monitor. Here we go. So I did that little thing with make a compound path earlier. Let me center these again. So if you have two elements and you want to turn them into one, usually I demonstrate this with a circle because it reminds me of a donut. But we have the two squares here. Select them both, right click, and make a compound path. And it turns it into just the one element. It combines the two cut lines. And you end up with kind of an outline. Now, if we right click and release the compound path, it goes right back to the original two elements. And the funny thing is, with make a compound path, is that if we go to the send page when we have both squares lined up like that, you can see there are the two cut lines. There's the inside and the outside cut lines. Go to design, right click, make a compound path. You go to the send page and you still have the exact same two cut lines. And it just, either way would be the same cut, but making a compound path turns it into one element instead of two. Yes, every dot or node, editing point, whatever you want to call them in the design is another chance for it to lift or turn, and you just get a much smoother cut if you simplify, and it's going to be faster and look better and all of the things. So definitely double click, bring up the editing points, and simplify. Okay, we have been on almost a full hour now. I think this is the longest live yet, and I think I had the most fun during this one. I appreciate all of the questions. I do want to say that I just put out a Halloween supply shopping guide. It is full of all kinds of different things that I have personally used and can recommend, from vinyl to different weeding tools to blanks, all of the things, ribbons, beads, mini skeletons, all the goodies are in there. It is free. It is on my Podia site. So if you want to grab that, you just head over there and grab it. I think I did put the link to that in the description as well. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll check back in just a little bit once the video is processed and try to get to all of the other questions that were put in afterwards. If you are watching the replay, say hello and let me know you're watching the replay. And if you're watching the replay, let me know if there was a better day and time. Otherwise, I'm going to head out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.